Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope everyone had a great day. We're going to go over my two losses on the day and overall how the day was in the market and go over the top plays for tomorrow, February 22nd. So let's go over my two losses real quick. CMMB. So here we are. I don't know what this is right here. Doesn't even allow me to get rid of it. Okay, but point is, this was one of the gappers in the morning. A lot of the plays in the morning on the scanner were looking pretty good for possible setups, but they never had any follow through except for CMMB. So that's why I had my eye on it. It was the one that was holding up, not failing, and seemed like eyes were on it. As we can see here, low market cap, super low float. So I thought this could possibly get a move on if it reclaims key prices after it fails to break down, trapping shorts in this and then giving us a nice squeeze. But that just never happened. And here's my first trade: 300 shares at 244, and then I added some more, getting my average up to 249, 600 shares, and that never worked out. I was at first risking day low, but I was very suspicious of this play. If you go over the recording of this trade, that's the previous video lesson here on YouTube. But what I was thinking was, okay, we have pretty strong volume, reclaiming key prices, and it's a super low float. And out of the gappers, it's the one that's holding up the best. So a lot was going for it, but it wasn't doing what I expected. We usually see plays like this, they shape up, even if it does take them a little bit to work out. They don't just get stuffed. But here, it just seemed like it was pretty choppy and volume started fading. So it seemed like a possible lower high. I was not liking how that was setting up. So it just seemed that it wasn't doing what it should. And that's why I got out sooner than what I had my stop loss at 227. So ended up getting out 12-cent loss, $72. Not too bad. I'll take it. Ends up ripping, but I know I wouldn't have sold into this as it was not 10% or more. I usually like to get at least 10%. I probably would have been waiting for it to push into the 270s, 280s, but would end up being too patient and getting stuffed on. So that happened. Gave it a bunch of time. Came back midday-ish and saw that it was still holding up. Solid double bottom at day low. A little bit of volume kind of coming back, but it was a complete misread. There really wasn't any volume, and it was just a few minutes really that it had. So I really just followed the price action here more than volume. So that was kind of an emotional, misguided trade. The first trade in the morning, I would take that trade every time. It's okay that it didn't work out. That happens. Um, but I would take it. Good loss. The second one, pretty emotional. Not really needed. And there really wasn't any volume. Had plenty of time to decide to get out. But once it cracked, that's when I was just over it. Was very impatient with this thing. Just hanging on. Sticking to my stop. That was down here. 237. 238. So this one was at exact same prices and share count as the morning trade, 600 shares, 249, out at 237. So it happens. Not every single play just takes off. Sometimes you don't get a play that just rips higher or just breaks down. You get this choppy sideways action. I know it moved a little bit within the range, kind of a wide range from the 230s to 240s, or excuse me, 270s, but not much really to work with here. So CMMB, it is what it is. But yeah, not gonna overthink it. It just didn't work out. And then there was TMDI, which was right out of the watch list. And earlier, when I was watching this, I wasn't a huge fan, as there really wasn't a bunch of volume. And then I take my eye off of it, and then that's when the volume really comes into the play, and we get that high a day break over 20 cents, leading to a solid push, about 20%. Ends up failing to break down. Gives one last squeeze. Who knows if this heads higher, but this is the move we look for. Failure to break down, high a day break on some volume. Looking for it to get on average 30% from previous close, which is what it did today. Not in this first run up, but on that second one. But here, if I was in at 19, 20 cents, if it's at 23 going vertical, that's looking pretty overextended. Not much on the volume, but it gets choppy here. Has a bit of a hard time after having a pretty clean push once it gets to 23, 24 area. So good signal to sell, as after you get a one-sided move, pretty clean push. Once you get some indecision, that could lead to a fade or huge dip. Who knows how far it goes? And much safer to just lock in your quick 10-15% while you're up, instead of sticking around looking to make that extra 5-10%. So unfortunate that this play was missed. It was a top play, but lighter volume in the morning, and then just took it off watch. Was really focused on CMMB, and yeah, ended up being one that works out. And another play to go over SRNE. Oh wow, this thing ended up taking off here. So this play was on watch last week. I was looking for that bounce to keep pushing if volume kept coming in, especially if it broke 27 cents, as that was a key resistance area. And after that, I was thinking we can get to 35 to 40 cents. Didn't really give it on Friday, but today we get that follow through. As you can see, volume continues to come in, able to push it higher, fuel that move. And just an incredible after hours push. Completely missed this. At this point, the higher the better. Could play this as a bounce on the way down. I know it's already kind of a bounce here, but this is an incredible push with a lot of eyes on it. So let's just wait and see how the backside comes in and see for a bounce play. But now I'm done with it. We're up 3 green days in a row. I'm not going to risk it going on to a fourth. Whatever happens, happens. And we'll just wait for the bounce play. Just play it safe. But nice to see that one work out the way I initially wanted. There was one more spiker. 1 second. AM. Another unfortunate play that was missed. Well, it was not an unfortunate play. It was just unfortunate that it was missed. Nice push here, right from the watch list. Looking for that 374 multi-day breakout level. Let me show it here. So I was looking, if volume comes back, looking for that 374 break to at least test the resistance here in the mid fours. So I wasn't sure how much volume would be coming in. If there was some strong volume, I knew we would have enough to at least test the mid fours, but there's a lot of volume resistance at that area. So at first, I wasn't too sure it had enough to really break through. If you do watch that video lesson, the previous one, it is an hour long, but it was kind of a slow morning, so it was a long video going over the morning trades, as well as what I was thinking on some of these plays. AM, after it was getting to the mid fours here, I wasn't too sure how much more it can go. In my eyes, it did what I wanted. Volume was about 10 million, if I remember correctly, so I thought it might need to do 100 plus million if we really were going to get a strong move past 4.5. But ended up offering a nice opportunity from 4.5 to 5.5. But just a fade from there, not much. So I missed this dip buy opportunity. I remember saying, okay, I don't want to chase it because when I saw this play, it was already in the low fours, and I didn't want to chase the breakout at 374. We don't have to buy the breakout at any cost. Be patient, let it prove to you that's going to hold, confirm it, and lead to possibly higher prices. But when you're buying it in the middle of a spike, you really do run the risk of having bad risk reward. There's no telling how high it can keep pushing. So if you're buying it in the middle of a spike, you run the risk of it getting stuffed at any moment. So to reduce risk, wait for the dip buy opportunity. And in this case, it was a lot quicker than I had expected, and took my eye off of it. Came back, and it was in the 430s or so, and that's kind of how the day went. Just a couple of losses and just missed opportunities. So key takeaway, I guess, today is not all plays have to work out, and it's okay to take a good loss. Not all losses are bad. As well as focus on what really has the volume. I know the one I was looking at this morning, CMMB, it did have strong volume at first, but it had long periods where there really wasn't much. And when it does come back, it's only for a little bit, just a couple minutes, and then it fades back. Compared to something like AMAM, where you can see every single minute it is having incredible volume coming through. And here on the fade, that's when you do get the light volume, which we like to see, light selling pressure and high demand on the way up. So as you can see, the volume bars for these two tickers are completely different. Um, so really focus on where people's eyes are at. That's essentially it. And same deal with, I know it acted a little different, TMDI, but if I kept my eye on it, would have recognized volume coming back. Where are we at here? There's a couple minutes here where it's in the low 20s that I probably would have been willing to risk chasing here. If it would have gotten to 21 past that, would have ignored it. But once that volume comes back, as you can see down here, let me zoom in a bit more. After failing to break down and continuing to make higher lows all morning, for 2-3 minutes, we get some strong volume before it starts ripping to the 23-24 area. So I know it's a lesson we always go over, but that is a takeaway from today. So we'll just wrap it up there now to get into the top plays for tomorrow. So we got IVDA, of course, that's going to be a top play. This one tried bouncing today, but no volume, as you can see. Wasn't able to really shift in momentum and have shorts lock in profits. There really wasn't much fear in this from the lack of buyers, as you can see. So get a quick little push, but ends up getting stuffed. Ended up closing, making a higher low. We'll see how this opens up. But showing some bottoming action. It had a quick little fake out breakdown past that 130 low here from last Thursday. And that's when it started climbing back. And the whole day, it's not like it came right back to that level and broke down. So in my eyes right now, this is showing some stability. Trying to find some bottom here around the 120s, 130s. So just waiting for that volume to really come in. Once we get that volume and that high day break, getting higher lows, as we saw today with TMDI, that was a good lesson on how they develop, because early on, not much volume there, but then it ends up coming through as it just kept failing to break down. And Buyers kept propping it up. Shorts got tired and started locking in their profits as it wasn't pushing lower. And that's where all that energy, all that volume came through to fuel that play. So IVDA, I'm talking about it for a few days now. You get the deal, multi-day bounce. Same deal with IREN. This one last week, strong move from the high ones all the way to the low fives. And now coming off the highs decently. Second red day. Just keep it on watch for failure to break down. Well, not break down, but keep pushing lower. We got light selling pressure here on this day 2 red day. So just a waiting game. We'll see how it shapes up for a possible bounce play. And we got OKYO. Incredible move on Friday from 2.5 to 7 pretty much. Gave up a lot of the move. I think that it was on bad news. That crack looks like it was on bad news. I'm not too sure. But whatever the case, I know I usually ignore those, but recently we've had a couple examples where they do work out. So we'll keep it on watch. I know I will likely ignore this because a move like this lower doesn't just rarely comes naturally. Typically there's some bad news that drives a move like this lower. So we'll keep it on watch, likely just to learn from it, or if I am emotional and nothing else is shaping up, maybe I trade it. But I'm really liking IVDA and IREN a lot more for the multi-day bounce, simply because it doesn't look like they have bad news compared to this thing. So we got recent examples of it working out with bad news, but don't let outliers really change the way you approach a play. So I know I have it on a top watch, but if we're being honest, I probably shouldn't. I just can't help it. This is so far off of the highs. I just feel that it's due for a bounce. So we'll just keep this on the back burner. Least favorite out of the top plays here. And lastly, BOXD. Nice little reversal here. Threatened a multi-day breakout at 77 cents. But I'm guessing not enough volume, and that is the case. Didn't have enough strength to even get back to it or have a fake out or anything. So not much yet. Still waiting for that volume to come through. But if we break over 77 cents, as you can see here, the 70s are a key area. Triple top pretty much. So for months, it's been having a hard time at this level. If it can finally get above that area, confirm it as support with demand behind it, showing some strong force behind the move, supporting a push higher, just giving an imbalance between the supply and demand. It can lead to test the next resistance, which is looking in the zone around 90 cents. We got 96 cents, 98, 99, low ones here. So kind of a wide range, but all in the 90-cent low ones. There's some resistance there. So if this ends up working out and I happen to be in this in the mid 70s, high 70s, I'll take a quick 10-15% as usual. In the high 80s, low 90s. So another thing I'm noticing, a lot of these plays recently are New York Stock Exchange plays. I know that's something I typically avoid as it are slower, choppier plays, but seems like they're getting some action and they're moving nicely. So as long as it's moving like your average penny stock, what we're used to, able to give us that volatility, why not attack it? The main reason I personally don't watch them is because of how they move. So in this case, we got a low market cap play, not too high of a float considering its price. So yeah, those are the top plays for tomorrow. Let's see what shapes up. Besides that, hope everyone had a great day.